In this lesson, we're going to learn about merging layers in Photoshop. And if you want to follow along, just go ahead to the Photoshop Files folder in the Downloads and open up this merging PSD file. Here we see we have different layers. We have our right stitches, our left stitches, and the ball outline for this beautiful baseball that I designed right here. And then we have our text layer down here. Now, to merge layers, meaning to combine these into one, it's relatively simple. What you can do is select multiple layers by just either selecting one and then control clicking the next one, or command clicking if you're on a PC, and selecting all of the ones that you want, or even deselecting them while you have control selected. The other way to quickly select multiple layers is to select the top or bottom layer and then shift click the topmost or the bottommost layer in that selection or in that series of layers to select all of them. Then to merge, you can right click and choose merge layers, or press this little button right here, which has the same options as a right click, and choose merge layers. Or you see here the keyboard shortcut Control or Command E. And then see what happens when I do that. All of the layers were merged down into one, and it keeps the name of that right stitches one, which was the top layer. I'm going to undo that by pressing Command Z on my controls. If you're on a PC, that is Control Z. There are a couple other options for merging layers. If you just select one and you do the same thing, Command E, it is a merge down. If you right click or go to this menu, you see this merge down, and what that does is it merges it with the layer beneath it. So you could pick the top one and press Command E to merge down, and then Command E again to merge down again. Now this brings up something interesting about undoing in Photoshop. So if I want to undo this, I can press Command Z. But if I try to undo one more time, it doesn't allow me to step backwards to a previous action that I did. If I just keep pressing undo, it just goes forward, back to this last merge that I did. To get back to where I was before with the layers separated, I can go to my history panel right here and then choose the part of the history where you want it to go back to. Right here, I want it to be with the layer order. This is where all of these other layers were separated. So that is how you use the history panel to undo actions previous to the very last action that you just did. Okay, another option is when you select multiple, you see this merge visible option. So say, let me just make the text and the background not visible. So now we have this transparent background, which you see by the checkerboard gray and white squares. That means it's a transparent background. And then if I just click this button right here and say merge visible, or Shift Command E, it merges all of the visible layers into one. So now I can check these ones back on, and we have this ball layer that is merged. I'm going to undo that. There's one more cool trick that I want to talk to you about, and that is if you want to create a merged copy of multiple layers, there's a great hotkey for that. So say I want to select all of these layers and I want to merge them all into one layer, but I also want to keep the individual layers, perhaps for editing later on, so that if I do want to change how those layers look or whatever, I can do that later on. You can press Command Option E, or on a PC, Control Alt E. And see what happens right there? It created a merged version of the ball. And now I can move this ball over to the right. And then we have the individual layers right here from before. And so that was Command Option E. So these are the different ways to merge layers, and you would merge layers when you don't want to deal with multiple layers anymore, and you just want them to be one layer. Yes, you can group items, you can link them together like we learned before, but sometimes just merging them into one layer is the easiest and the cleanest way to go. Thanks so much for watching, and we'll see you in the next lesson.